What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Ben Thomas Show. Thanks for coming back. Guys, it's been a couple days since my last video, but I thought it might be worthy of doing a this or that video on the new HONO Wolverine in comparison to that previous version that a lot of you guys are getting in your collection now. Do we need both? Is there room in the displays for that? Does this make sense from a business perspective? And what can you expect from HONO next now that we're seeing this pop up? I have a lot of questions and definitely some comments. So guys, stick around. If you like the video, hit the like button, smash the subscribe if you're new to the Ben Thomas Show, and let's get into it.
Oh, pardon me, but it's Ben
Thomas Showtime.
Let's go.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. So there's a couple things I want to address first. We're going to talk about the newest HONO figure, this newest Unmasked Wolverine. Then we'll compare it a little bit to what we've seen already. Then we have to decide, is it this, that, both? Is there room in the display for that type of concept coming from an entry grade figure line like HONO? So first of all, this figure is awesome. Let's be honest. I think the face sculpt is fantastic. I actually love what they've done. I saw that there was a head sculpt on 1/6 kit recently that you could kind of pair with your original HONO version if you wanted to, and I thought it was good, but I truthfully think that this is better. I love the cell shading in the hair. I think that looks really cool, and I love the fact that this figure now has that exposed neck with the cowl that's removed and kind of resting on the shoulders of the figure. I think that looks fantastic, especially if you're a huge Wolverine fan and you want to be able to display Logan like that. I think it's a great opportunity to do so. But, of course, there's a few of us that are a little bit confused by this release. Maybe there's many of us, let's be honest. I'm a little confused by why this is the approach from HONO. If I think about a figure line like Mondo Toys, for example, Mondo Toys will often give a standard and deluxe release option. And with the deluxe, there usually comes a timed exclusive window where you can get some additional head sculpts, potentially figure accessories, you know, that type of thing. And usually it's marginally more expensive and they sell out quickly. And if you miss your opportunity, then you're stuck with the standard. But it does create some exclusivity to that deluxe line. And for those who take their time, don't get in fast enough, you know, they're stuck with the standard, and that's just the way it goes. This is a bit of a different way of doing things that I don't fully understand, other than to recapture lost margin. When the original HONO figure was released, and we saw it and we were like, how are they able to give us a figure with seamless arms, this kind of silicone aesthetic, all of the features that it comes with, how realistic it looked, at a price point of $165. At the time, we talked about how clearly the margin on figures is significantly overinflated in comparison to what they actually need to sell this for. But now, with the reveal of this figure, what that highlights to me is that they're going to use the ever-loving crap out of these bodies until they make their money back, and if not, make significant profitability margins. Let's be honest, if you want both of these looks in your display, you're looking at a price point of $340 to $350 US to have both, which is then no longer really an entry grade price point. And the argument could be made, well, Ben, of course it's not. You're talking about two different figures, but why then is every other figure that feels like it's ever existed come with what looks like a standard and deluxe option and this doesn't? It's because they need to recapture some of that margin, guaranteed. But what it does is a couple things. While I think the figure does look cool, and let's be honest, they've increased the pricing here. This is now $175, so this is $15 more expensive than the original masked version. It doesn't come with the hand blade effects, but it does come with this cowl, and it does come with, again, the exposed neck and the hood drop down. Is that worth an additional $15? Well, maybe if you missed on the first, or if you prefer the unmasked look. But what we've also seen is a brown suited Wolverine now. We're still waiting on other characters like Thor, and there are so many characters that exist in the plethora of unique cool factor characters within lines like X-Men or just the Marvel Universe, that how do we know that Hono isn't going to do this every time? If you bought the black suit Spider-Man, for example, if you've invested, are they going to give us an unmasked spider suit? Probably. The brown suited Wolverine, it was a limited release, which is exciting for a lot of collectors. Why make such a low cost figure a limited version? But will it upset you if they come out with another brown suit version with the unmasked sculpt? And what it, I think, does is not drive me to desire to purchase this, but actually makes me want to wait and see. It removes some of the urgency that I might have, because now that I recognize that this is a thing that they may do, like we see with smaller scale toy lines, it makes me not want to spend my money, because I don't want to spend $345 to get 2 different looks. And I don't want to necessarily buy a figure that I think is great just to see it superseded by something that's better. So, this in comparison to the previous version, if you like the cowled look, I mean, I think it goes without saying, that would be the version you'd obviously choose. I know that there was a lot of criticism, though, that people didn't totally love like the likeness under the cowl, and I think if you're a comic-inspired fan, then this unmasked version actually is superior. When I close my eyes and think about comic book Wolverine, it's actually kind of this look that I'm really thinking of. And when I think of the cowled look, I'm thinking more of the animated series, which I also equally love, but again, different looks. Now, is there room in the display for both? And maybe that brown suited Wolverine, if you have that as well. 3 Wolverines from the same toy line already? It seems like a lot. Some of you out there are major Wolverine fans, so I can understand. What I think I would have preferred as an alternative to seeing the same suit just with a head sculpt now instead of the masked version, I would have liked to see a Logan figure, you know, maybe like jeans and a lumberjack shirt and this head sculpt. But something that you could pair with the original version, maybe swap the head out, maybe it comes with that, you know, folded down cowl look so that you can actually kind of swap it out if you wanted to. But also you get a different looking figure in your display as well. You don't have 2 of the identical bodies. Because at the end of the day, this just feels cheap. It feels kind of cash grabby. When they definitely could have added an additional head sculpt in for, what, 15, 20 extra dollars, and I think people would have bought it. Now, the other thing that we have to consider is we've seen a lot of criticism around the Iron Man for its inflated pricing in comparison to the Wolverine originally. And a lot of us said, oh, you see, we knew this price point wasn't going to stay low forever. We knew it wasn't going to stay entry grade. But I honestly think people would have felt that way too initially if the price had been a little higher to get an extra sculpt at first. I don't think people would have said, wow, this really feels entry grade. This is getting into, you know, low cost Hot Toys figure lineups. And that's what nobody wanted, except that it's backfired now, because if you want this look, now you have to buy 2 figures as a result. And I don't want Hono to continue on this path. There's so many other cool figures and characters that you could design. I think if this had even been a year away from the original release, like some of you are just getting the first figure in your display right now, and now there's one that could be perceivably better, that's a thorn in the side. That sucks. And now, if you want to ditch the old one to get this one, guaranteed you're going to take a loss. Almost guaranteed. So, how is that a win for collectors? And what precedent does this set for new collectors who are, I thought, at least the target audience for entry grade lines? Aren't you as a Hono book of business trying to hook those people? Right? Get them addicted to collecting. Get them addicted to having a couple of different figures in their lineup. You know, get them wanting to build out their X-Men display or their Spider-Man display. Why go back to the well and recreate the same, if not only to make some money back because that price was too low initially? The margins were just too slim. So they're going to make their money. The bodies exist. How can we do it? This is the way to do it. I don't think that's a great approach. And I think it's actually going to lose people. People like me, who are not totally sold on this line to begin with, now feel like, well, I'm just going to wait and see. If I see a character that I think is cool, and I think that there could be a better alt version that comes out, yeah, I'll wait. And if I miss it, oh well. But how is that good for this company as well? It can't make sense to them other than to clear the dollar amount that they've already spent. Now we'll see what happens with other lines. Are you invested in Hono as it is already? When I compare both of these figures, for me, my preference, now that I see both on the screen, I think is the unmasked cowl version. I think that's a better look. I like the look of it. It looks very comic inspired. I think that's exciting. And I really like that you still see the cowl laid down. You still get that great look of the original while also getting to celebrate, you know, the character underneath the cowl, and I think that's pretty cool. Now this figure is slated to come out in Q2 of 2025, so not too far away. The other one came out honestly faster than I felt like I was expecting. Seeing it in people's collections already is pretty cool. I do think that there's room for both, but if we had to say this being the new version or that being the previous version, or both, what's your selection? How did you guys feel about seeing this news this week? Was this a thorn in the side? Was it expected? Do you feel like this cheapens the line even further and makes it feel like a small scale toy line who's really just tried to grind out dollars by recreating the same character over and over and over again? Would you be equally or more upset if you saw a limited figure like Brown Suited Wolverine come back, but with an unmasked version instead? At what point do you say, no, I'm done. I'm already out? Maybe it's now. Maybe it's later. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. But guys, if you like this short video, hit the like button, smash the subscribe if you're new to the Ben Thomas Show. Is it this being the new figure, that being the old figure, both? Let me know in the comments down below. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Wow, what a great audience. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Because subscribing makes it feel good.
Where shall I go? What shall I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
It's gone. It's all gone.